all, as mentioned in some of your posts, it is indeed, mobile learning is not at all accessing, simply accessing content through a mobile device. It's much more than that, and it's more because it is actually possible to do more with it. It's a communication device, first of all, which means that there are much more options to use than in regular learning. Now, what I will show you is a mobile project which was started in 2008 or conceptualized in 2008, but which was actually done a year ago. And after we've started with that mobile project, we actually got it into a contest, the Brandon Hall contest, and it won a prize, so for which we are very happy. And it won a prize specifically because it was about peer collaboration. Okay. At ITM, where I work, we have different mobile projects. We also have mobile data gathering. We do mobile continued education and QR codes as well. So we test quite a lot, which is quite a challenge because we only have a very small, really tiny team. Tiny being, we are actually with the three of us trying out all of these mobile learning projects and setting them up. So that's kind of nice to know. I think you don't need a lot of people, but what you do need, of course, are enthusiastic people. The nice thing about it is with the coming of age of mobile learning, it's much easier also to really go forward in places where you've never been able to really make a difference through education. I think mobile learning really, and specifically the smartphones and the social media, provided a paradigm break. Overall, in any projects that we do have some key concepts which we try to respect, which is durability, scalability, collaboration, allowing user-generated content, which we think is very important because we work with healthcare workers who all have different experiences, and you want to get their knowledge into the group. So allowing the user to generate their own content is quite essential. It cannot cost much, which is also very important, and it should be somehow a little bit independent and generic if possible, but that's a very difficult one because, as mentioned by some of you, the standards for mobile learning or mobile devices are quite varied. Now, case one is a Peruvian mobile project, as I said, which we conceptualized in 2008 and actually have delivered in 2009-2010. It's a mobile learning project which was developed in Lima in Peru together with Belgium. And what we wanted to do was to enable healthcare workers to download the latest medical information and also to share the knowledge and the data that they had. Now, the target population is always a very important feature for mLearning. And so in our case, we wanted to have access to a target population which was quite spread throughout Peru and who all worked in clinics in different departments. This was done because we wanted to see whether or not it was able to work, the mobile solution that we wanted to aim for, if we wanted to make sure that it would work in any setting, in the capital but also in rural areas. Now, in order to apply this mobile learning solution in a variety of settings, we needed to find a solution that would make it more accessible, the content, than ever before. And as such, we thought, look, if we try to give a mobile solution like with Moodle, and we access content through Wi-Fi's, then we might be able, Wi-Fi enabled devices, then we might be able to really get the content out there. So we gave 20 physicians 2 different types of smartphones, One was the Nokia N95, which is now an older model, but at that time it was quite a new model, and the first generation iPhone. We also included with each phone a solar panel, because people sometimes didn't have access to electricity while they were on the road, and the healthcare workers in rural areas are on the road quite a lot. And we also provided them with a mobile router. A mobile router enables you to just plug it into any network, internet network, and it builds like a hotspot. With most of the smartphones today, you can just build a hotspot with your own mobile device, but in that moment it wasn't possible. So we included a Wi-Fi router as well. For a 3-month during course, and each part of the course was called a module, a clinical module, and every 2 weeks we started up a new clinical module which the physicians or the healthcare workers needed to access via their smartphone. First of all, we gave them a pre-test just to see what they knew, or to let them see what they knew. Then we delivered a clinical case, and those clinical cases were either 3D movies, well, animations, or questions related with clinical cases, and we also pushed them to really think critically about these clinical cases. In order to push some kind of knowledge exchange or some discussions, we used Skype. Now it's very important for any mobile trafficking that you use a Wi-Fi, because otherwise you pay through the nose, which, well, that's the case in Belgium, but it's also the case in Peru and in many other countries. Mobile data internet sometimes costs really a lot. So that was why we used Wi-Fi as much as possible. And Skype is indeed the best. And so we used Skype to discuss, to enable discussions between peers. And we also allowed them to discuss through mobile discussion forums through the mobile Moodle as well. But those weren't to access that much. Most of the time the people were using Skype to exchange or debate the clinical cases. After a couple of days, in day 11, we sent a summary material of everything that the people talked about and also what they saw. And on day 15 we offered the participants a post-test just to see if they assimilated the material. Now this circle of clinical modules was done for 3 months. Domingo, please let me know something. I will gladly go into a project, or to all of you, gladly go into a new mobile project. Now, just to give you an idea, tools that we used were low-cost tools, if possible, whenever possible. Those were free tools as well. Now I put them here with some links. I will share the presentation, but I will also share the slides themselves with the links, so you can access all the links if you want to. And also access the repository of iTunes, because you can still see some animations that we made for the mobile course as well, which is always nice, or at least I think it's nice. We also used Facebook, as you can see, for more informal talks. Now the great thing about this was that although we used a mobile device, the real course was not connected to the technology. The real course was all about discussions, all about sharing, and all about building on each other's cases and experiences, so which was really nice. And indeed, these smartphones were of the higher order of, well, quite expensive. But nowadays the intermediate phones that are now available, around 100 euros, which is still a lot of course, do have the same capabilities. It's just Wi-Fi and access to social media, and you can go. You are on the road to mLearning with peer collaboration. But I will also show you some tools to make content for cell phones, really basic cell phones as well. In the second case I will show. What we used was mobile Moodle, which is the mLe Moodle. But afterwards, the mLe Moodle did give us some problems. So what we did, we made some kind of volunteering spin-off, enabling Moodle to become more mobile friendly. And at this point in time, the Moodle developers, the main Moodle Julian Witten for one, are developing the Moodle 2.0 with the mobile editions as well. So it's going to happen in 2011, a full-blown mobile Moodle with all the possibilities. We also made a pre and post test. Now these pre and post tests are actually, you can make it easily with some survey software. I've been using FormSite and SurveyMonkey, well, some HTML-based softwares which sometimes enable questions to be put in as well, and those are easily accessible through mobiles, so which is nice. Although we did get a lot of praise with this particular mobile learning project, we had many challenges to tackle, and some of these challenges still exist today. For instance, there is a lack of mobile standards, and although HTML5 is really on the rise, it's still not standard issue in all the softwares that we are currently using for example in e-learning. But you can access the W3C Mobile Web Initiative, and they are, for instance, they have a checker for mobile accessibility like they have for websites, just to check if once you build something in HTML5, it actually is consistent to the standard of HTML5. Now you also have a lot of problems with the interoperability for mobile programs, so sometimes you need to really take a hard look at what you are going to use in your mobile. Another challenge that we face, and we still face, is the connectivity, specifically in rural areas and in some parts of the world. Now the connectivity is improving, but still it remains a problem. And there is also, it's quite time consuming if you want to build a native application as well. The nice thing is, if you build a native application, you can really run it on the specific devices itself. But at the same time, if you want to build native applications for a variety of operating systems, then you're really going to lose a lot of time. Most of these challenges are still here after those 2 years following the project itself. I also listed some of the actions taken, but I will just keep it for later reading. I'm not going to go through all of them here. I've listed the tools that we used here. As you can see, those are for those who are interested in data gathering. A very interesting software to check out is Survey2Go, software to use for data gathering. It has many. Why is it nice? Because it has many rules. It can be used offline and online, so we use it in rural settings in South Africa. Maxime Matter uses them. As I said before, the mobile learning project in Peru was a collaboration between two medical institutes, one in Antwerp, Belgium, and one in Lima in Peru.